What is up, everybody? Today we have a lot to talk about, including some people quitting mid-game. The playoffs are coming up, and a little bit of ball talk. Let's get into it. What is going on, spectators? Today we have a lot to talk about with the pigskin, and I got two handsome gentlemen to join me in that. As usual, my boy Brooklyn's in the house. What's going on, BK?
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New
Yes,
Year,
sir.
Jew. Hope you're doing good. I'm ready to get into this, talk about another week. And we got our boy Alejandro up in the
Yes,
building
sir.
with us. What's
How's it
going
going?
on,
Yes, sir.
Alejandro?
Not much. Excited to be here for the new year. First episode of year 3, and
Yes,
excited
yes,
to join in
yes.
here and be part of the podcast this week. And excited to talk about some football.
Yes, sir. And we got a lot to talk about with football, and we tend to do a little thing around here when it comes to football. We talk winners and losers. And Hondro, I want you to start it off. Give me a winner or a loser from the second to last week in the NFL.
So loser, big loser, starting off for Antonio Brown. That's literally what a loser can you do at the moment.
Yeah.
But the reasoning behind that is I have a nice little stat here that I found
Okay.
that night. So Antonio Brown, he needed 8 more catches to unlock $333,000 bonus. He also needed 55 more receiving yards to receive an additional $333,000. And then he just needed 1 more receiving touchdown to unlock a third additional bonus of $333,000.
So he just left a million.
He lost $1 million by quitting the spot. So that is, for me, that is why he is my loser of the week.
Yeah.
And then
Well, one of many reasons.
Yeah, one of
one of many, but just financially, that's a lot.
And it's especially a loser because, obviously you have the rest of that game. You got a week 18. If you don't have the off the field nonsense with the vaccine card, you get those 2-3 games that he got suspended for. You probably get that bonus a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
And it's
100%,
just some
100%.
nonsense, bro. Nonsense.
Yeah.
So close to the playoffs as well. Like you're almost done with the season. Just get it through. And I feel like after going through the whole vaccine issue, you only get so many chances. The fact
Yeah.
that he even was allowed to
Allowed
come back
back, yeah.
to play, and then just throw it away on that was his first game back, right? Or his second?
I think second.
His
Yeah.
second, but still, just
And I
throw it
mean,
away.
he's
just
had
like that.
chance after chance, bro. Forget about just a vaccine card.
Yeah.
It's been from
And I'm
all
interested
the
to
way
find out
in-
exactly what caused this outburst, because I was seeing that some people were speculating that they weren't letting him play so they wouldn't get that bonus. Oh,
Yeah,
if you don't play, you don't get the bonus. So
Yeah.
that's why he was mad. But we need a reliable source.
Well,
to
the
that.
thing is, from what I heard, is that he got benched for the first half.
Mhm.
Arians told him to come into the game. He said no. They circle back around. Hey, come into the game. He said no again. And then Bruce Arians said, well, you can leave if you want to. He said bet. And then that's when you see
That's
Mike
it?
Evans on the sideline trying to stop him. And
Good for Mike Evans though. He didn't try that hard. Because I remember I was watching the video.
Yeah.
As soon as those pads came off, he said, "Man, I'm done with this."
Yeah.
Well,
he
what
was
are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you
Honestly,
gonna do?
That's a
If
grown
you were really
man.
gonna take off your pads like that and just leave,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can say.
No.
You're gone.
That's why it was an away game. This man had to find a ride and then fly home on his own.
Well,
He couldn't even fly with
him
the crew.
Ubering. The picture of him outside the stadium waiting for an Uber is one of the funniest things that have happened in sports this year. He's just sitting outside in the freezing cold. Because it was cold in New York this weekend. He was running around the stadium shirtless. Just
That's the thing. He does that on the road. There's been weird situations, people going to the locker for the second half. I can't remember the name of the guy, but it's happened before.
Yeah.
It's not the weirdest thing. When you do it on the road across the country,
mid-offensive possession.
In the third quarter.
You're an offensive player.
You didn't even leave at half.
You're half naked. You run across the field, hyping the crowd up
like a mascot, bro.
What are we doing, bro? What are we doing?
To be
It's
fair, they have no more home games, so it's either in New
yeah,
York or in Carolina.
it
And I
was
feel
do
like
it
I
now
would
or
rather do it in
bust.
New York.
At least Carolina. You're more down south.
No,
Closer.
what are you gonna do in North Carolina?
In
Nothing.
New
Just go. You're in New
York.
York.
He's going to the
You know
club.
people. You got
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. Well, it's just really crazy too, because like the story of Antonio Brown is just so easy, like documentary fodder. Like this is gonna be a documentary at some point. It's the easiest layup for a documentary ever. Like if they mess it up, they freaked it like hard because there's just so much. There's so many
That's the only way
layers.
they could mess it up if they couldn't like get everything into it because
Yeah,
there's
like
so much.
yeah, it would like maybe need to be a two-parter. Like it's so much stuff that kind of involves context. And the crazy thing about the whole thing, this isn't surprising. Like coming out of college, his recruiting message, the whole thing was this guy's uber talented. He's crazy fast. He's really good as a football player, but he doesn't work hard. He's a head case. He has control issues. He's kind of a conflictual person and he just has character flaws. Like that was the big thing. He almost didn't get drafted and fell off draft boards because of these issues, but he was just too talented not to. And we've seen that. We've seen the highs with Antonio Brown. There's been pockets where we were like, man, this might be a top 5 wide receiver of all time because he was that good in Pittsburgh. And obviously it didn't last as long as we would have liked. And it then going from team to team and getting cut by the Raiders and like, you know, it
Just
makes
off the
perfect
field.
sense that he went to the Raiders, right? He fits the Raiders documentary perfectly, right? He's part of that. And, you know, part of it too is like he's not completely out of his mind. Like he mentioned like Gruden was like a bad person. Like there's little things that he's said some stuff, and if we kind of listened or like looking back, you're like, oh yeah, like you're right. But you know, not every situation. It's kind of like a ex-girlfriend situation, right? Where if you say, "Oh, my exes are crazy," maybe it's you, big fella.
Yeah.
Maybe it's you. If there's one common denominator here. So, Antonio, you're a loser this week. We hope you get the help you need though. Like whatever it is, I don't know. I don't know if it's like a mental thing, if it is like the concussions and like the hits he's taken. I know like Vontez Burfict was trending on Twitter the other day. It's not his fault. That was one hit. Like that hit didn't send him into badness.
Was wild though. It
was,
has been a slippery slope since.
Yeah, but like he's taking his licks and that's part of the game. And if you already have like mental issues clearly that were on display before it, that's not really a good mixture.
Yeah, because as much as everybody likes to joke about it, and it's just wild watching it because it's unprecedented. Everything you see him do, nobody's done before.
No,
You
this is bizarre.
But it's scary in a sense of how does it all play out.
Yeah, and realistically, just looking at this objectively, it's sad. This is
It's really
sad.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a guy that needs help in some capacity, and he's going out there playing football. Probably the worst sport that you could play when you need help mentally. You're going out there, and I hope things get better. And
it doesn't seem like anybody's really reaching out or trying to put in the
well,
effort
and to be fair too, with the
write
way
it off as like whatever.
Well, to be fair to those people, like I'm sure people have tried over time, but when you act like this, like Bruce Arians doesn't like Antonio Brown. He didn't like him coming in. They've had conflict in the past, and he said, "I'm going to bring this guy in because I think that if we can keep him normal-ish, which nobody's normal, but you know, normal-ish, he can help this team and we can help him. That this can be mutually beneficial." And giving people chances like that and throwing it away.
And the worst
I'm sure
part
so many
was,
people have done it.
it was beneficial. Like his stats were pretty good. Besides, like if he would have played more, they could have been even better. Like he brought what Bruce Arians saw. Like he brought the quality that he knew he had. It's just a shame that all this stuff had to happen.
Yeah, because even when he came to the Patriots before the nonsense happened after the Miami game when he got cut from them, Tom really liked him and Tom wanted him in Tampa and vouched for him. And Tom kept him on a good path for a majority of the time in Tampa.
Yeah.
And then that one little slip up and
Yeah.
You can only
It's
like
great.
keep track of them so much. Like there's days off, there's weeks off,
Yeah.
sometime off season.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
Because it's
what-
chance after chance. It's not like you mess up
This isn't
two
new.
times.
and
Yeah.
at the
Like
end of the day, it's
two, three
also
times,
like
okay. But
they're all brothers and like in the team, but it's still like a coworker basically. You're just working.
Yeah,
I mean, you
exactly.
can only do so much for a
yeah,
coworker.
Yeah.
yeah.
It really is. So he's a loser this week, but hey, we hope whatever's happening gets some help and attention, and we can kind of figure that out because it's not
Yeah.
like the best place to be. So
Yeah,
best of
but
luck.
I'll just go ahead and double down a little bit on that. One of my losers, I'm still going with the Bucks because you get into a weird game with the Jets. They're looking like they're dominating you, which should just not be
Never happened.
happening.
Never happened.
Should not be happening in week 17 of a Super Bowl contender.
JETS.
Just simple as that. And then, yeah, you get the 93-yard touchdown drive from Brady.
Which was like one of the more impressive drives in all of football this year, mind you.
Yeah. I think it was one timeout or no timeout. Just
No, it was like a minute 50, no timeouts, and they just
Yeah.
marched down the field. It was like all backup wide receivers, like
Yeah.
just guys you never heard of. And Tom was just like, okay, like I guess I should play now. I guess I should turn it on.
So, like, shout out to that.
Get in there.
Right.
But again, was just the injuries and the way things have been going on and everything under the Tampa Bay sun for the Bucks. It's scary. And when it comes playoff time, I don't know what they're going to be able to do.
I
really
personally don't think they're gonna be that good in the playoffs.
Like,
to
they'll
be
get a
honest.
couple of people
I think
back.
they'll be fine, but that's just me.
You think they'll be fine though?
I think it's
But,
time
like,
for the
okay.
playoffs. I'm not worried. I'm literally the furthest thing from worried.
But it's a whole team, dude.
It doesn't
It's a
matter.
whole team.
It doesn't matter. They've had teams in the past that have been way worse than this, and he's gotten the Super Bowls.
Who would they play? Was it the 6th seed?
There's
Right-
a lot of
right
nonsense right now. They're the
now-
3rd seed right now, so they'd play the 6th. They'd play.
Okay.
It's either San Francisco
Francisco.
or Philly.
Oh, because we still have 1 week left. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not locked yet, but
Yeah,
they're the
that's-
3 seed now. They can go up to the 2 seed. I don't think they can drop to the 4. I think they're pretty locked in as 2 or 3, which obviously you want to be the 2, but doesn't matter that much. I don't really know. Actually, I don't even know if they want to be the 2 seed, because if they get the 2 seed and the Saints slip into the playoffs,
They have to play the Saints again.
that's the kryptonite coming out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I'm not worried about the Bucks. But I do see why you would be. I mean, we've said this. We must have commented this exact thing on the Bucks like 5 times on this podcast this year, because
Yeah, and
they
again,
keep
like,
piling up. Like they haven't gotten
That's the
any
thing.
They
healthier.
just have Brady. Take Brady out of the equation. That is not a team.
See,
Well,
but you
I
can't
mean,
say that though. Like
yeah,
I
that,
know
Yeah.
you can't, but like
that's way too hindsight, and we're not here for that.
that's why you look at them as a playoff team, though. Brady's just holding them up there.
And look, if they were healthy, they had everybody. They are one of the
Same team as last
scariest
year.
teams in the league.
yeah,
Yeah.
But just right now, they're so hobbled. And first round, I'm not too worried about them, so I'm on the same boat with you, Ju. But once you get to Dallas and the Rams and the Packers, I don't like the Bucks.
no. I mean, we'll see. I don't.
They make it past it. Super Bowl contenders, yay or nay?
I think so. I just yeah. I'm not worried. I think that's an overreaction. I think saying no is an overreaction.
Dang.
I really do think so. But my loser for this week, and tell me if this is an overreaction. I don't think it is. The Dallas Cowboys, they are not Super Bowl contenders. They are not
That
Super Bowl
offense.
contenders. That offense is abysmal. They have
Awful.
all the talent in the world. Amari Cooper. I mean, Michael Gallup just tore his ACL. Hope he gets better. That sucks. Like losing him at the end of the year, he's not going to be back until the end of next year. Like, hope a speedy recovery. He's super talented. He is super talented. You got CeeDee Lamb. You got Zeke's not what he once was, and Tony Pollard's kind of exactly what Zeke is, but that's not a bad 1-2 punch at running back. You still have a pretty darn good O-line. Dak Prescott's one of the 10 best quarterbacks in this league, and yet this offense is somewhere in the bottom half of the league, and it
Yeah,
makes
they have
no
good
sense why.
Yeah.
And so,
It's like they can't execute. They can't make it
no,
happen.
I don't know if it's
Yeah.
coaching. It might be a coaching thing. I just don't know what's wrong with the Cowboys. The Cowboys are exactly where they are seemingly every time they win 11 or 12 games, where they're really good on one side of the ball and the other side of the ball is as streaky as it gets. And when you come in, and I know Arizona was desperate for a win here. I know they were desperate for a win. But when you come in and just lay an egg offensively in a game where you can make a statement and become a 2 seed, pretty much locked in. If they won this game, they're a 2 seed essentially. And they got
Home too, right?
manhandled like the whole game. And the score wasn't indicative of that. This score could have easily been like 42-10.
Yeah.
Like a Patriots type score.
Yeah, it could have been really bad, and the Cardinals kind of let off the gas there, and that's a Cardinals issue. But I don't. I think my losers the Cowboys, and I don't think they're contenders. I don't think they're real contenders.
In the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Like again, like you go into the third quarter, it's 19-7. And what the ramifications Drew was talking about, that you can make this a statement game and put yourself in a really good position. You can't do that.
No. That's
can't
the
do
real
that.
issue I had with it. It was just like, and I mean that's been an issue all year for like every team in the NFL.
It has.
Like I'm not gonna say they're losers this week, but like the Chiefs, like they blew a pretty decent lead to the Bengals, and that could have been a game they clinched the 1 seed.
Yeah.
But I
And
do
they
say, I
just-
feel you gotta give the Bengals the credit there. Bengals, they're not a bad team.
No, and that's why I'm saying they're not a loser. But like,
Well, let's
But
go
it's
ahead and
po-
just transition it. That
Yeah,
the
Bengals
Bengals
are
are my
a winner.
winner.
yeah,
The Bengals are my
Bengals are-
winner. Sitting there was real quick for the
And they're young.
dynamic, deathly duo. Joe Burrow, 30 for 39, 446 yards with 4 touchdowns through the air.
That's insane.
Jamar Chase, 11 receptions, 266 yards with 3 touchdowns through the air.
broke the rookie record by the way.
Insane.
Yeah.
And they're also the AFC North champions.
Yeah, and you
Overall.
know what's kind of interesting about the Bengals?
What's up?
Hear me out. And I might be out of pocket for this, but I think it's kind of in a right realm, right? Teams that are young and like get good fast, seemingly out of nowhere. I think everybody thought the Bengals would be better this year, but they're way better than we thought. Like their offense literally went from like 28th to like 3rd in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Teams like this is kind of the year they need to like win. Because when you're young, obviously they're going to be good for a while if everything stays healthy and all that. But they're the healthiest team in the NFL this year by a wide margin. They have like 0 injuries. It's actually insane. They haven't had any COVID issues. I know Joe Burrow's joked about it where like there's nothing to do in Cincinnati. But they haven't had COVID issues for the most part. Injuries have been like, mwah, in a division where every other team is insanely hurt or insanely weird. Like the Steelers, this is the worst Steelers team we've seen in like 15 years, and they're like 8-8. Like it's weird. The Browns have too much talent on that roster to be bad like they kind of are, and the Ravens literally have 40 guys on the IR. So when you have all those things where the other teams are weird, you're super healthy, you're super young, and there's not like a book out on how to stop your offense yet, this is the year you need to win.
Yeah.
Is there any pushback on that? Like, I think this is like almost a one and done. I think that's an overreaction. But like, if there is a year where they like are favorites, it's gonna be this one.
Yeah, and with young teams, you want to capitalize because the mentality with it's weird. Like you get to that point, and then like some guys, I'm not saying all, but some guys feel like, okay, we got there, we're just automatically going to get there again. Maybe they don't work as hard.
Exactly.
The hunger ain't there because you got a taste of it. Some guys, they want more of it because they didn't get like the whole thing.
Yeah.
Some guys are content, like, okay, we got it, cool, we can coast. So you have to capitalize. And with this team, I don't think that's too much.
I don't think so either, but
because they're dogs. They'll move past it and keep on working.
Yeah.
But again, just with young guys, you never know. So you really want to capitalize on it when you got the chance. And like you said, the lane is right there.
Yeah, it's open.
Yeah.
It kind of brings me to Miami and the bubble. Like that was their chance to do it because if you don't do it right there, other teams are going to be healthy. You're going to get people back. People are going to get out of the weird dynamic of the bubble. You're not going to get that easy quote unquote
quote
route
unquote. Yeah.
to the championship as you would right now, and that's what the
This
Bengals
this is
pretty
the
much have right
easiest.
now.
This is the easiest they'll probably ever have their division, just
Oh,
because
absolutely.
their division had the toughest schedules in the league, and then all the injuries. Like, this is the easiest, not easiest. This is the best chance to win a division that is typically one of the better ones.
Yeah, because the Steelers are going to get a quarterback. They should get back to normalcy a little
Maybe
bit.
we'll
The
see.
the Ravens will get healthy. Browns are going to brown.
Whatever that
So
means. Yeah.
you
Whatever
never
that
know.
whatever that might
You
mean.
never know what it means.
Yeah.
But
So
even going off of that, like that's why I agree with you, Jew, on that. This is like their year. Everything's lined up perfectly for them to,
Yeah.
kind of grab it. Like the Geico commercial where he's like fishing
You
and
gotta
he
be
like kind
quicker
of
than
grab
that.
it.
Yeah. You gotta
Yeah,
be quicker than.
this is their year. But I don't necessarily feel like it's all or nothing. I feel like with
Yeah.
the young roster that they have and how talented they are, they can get better. Obviously, it's not a guarantee that they're
Yeah.
going to get better, or that they
yeah.
like Brooklyn said, it's not a guarantee that they hustle hard next year, or like it's the same outcome. But if they do and it does work out, I think this is a good team for a while. Like,
Yeah.
and especially like I still don't think the Steelers can come back next year just automatically and think they're the Steelers again with a new quarterback. And the Browns, like you said, they're going to brown.
They're going to
So
brown.
I
Yeah.
think they have a good lane, not just for this year, but for the next few years, maybe.
Yeah.
And if they could potentially like, I could see Joe Burrow like get a championship for him. Could.
Yeah, I
I
100%
do.
get it.
I do see the Bengals winning a championship during this tenure
Whatever
of however
window
long
it is.
they
Yeah.
have. But the
If they
thing
play their
is,
cards right, they have to play their cards
without
right.
even bringing Pittsburgh or Cleveland into the conversation, their competition in that division is Baltimore. And that's a very hard and tough competition to deal with every year to win that division, get a guaranteed playoff spot, go through them the whole nine. You got to deal with that for a good
Another
3,
5
4
years or
year,
so. Yeah, because
3, 4 year
Lamar's gonna be.
window
Yeah.
without having like Pittsburgh and
Yeah.
Cleveland.
Well, and not to harp on the Bengals too long, but how many years do you have potentially 3 1,000-yard rusher or receivers, 1,000-yard rusher, and your quarterback potentially throwing for 5,000 yards? Because if Boyd gets 200 yards next week, he's 1,000 yards. Obviously, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. That doesn't happen. Like, that never happens in this league. So,
Yeah.
you got
You
to
gotta go
capitalize.
for it.
I don't think it's a one and done. I don't think it's like they have to, but I do think it's a you really
It's the
want
best
to.
opportunity.
You really want to, yeah, for sure. 100, you got a winner?
I do. So my winner is actually going to be the Patriots. I know they had a blowout win this week, but that's why I chose them as a winner. I feel like they're showing more and more, to me at least, that they're potentially like a great like playoff contender, and the quarterback just keeps on doing better and better and better and better. And like I really like the Patriots this year, and which is funny because I've always hated the Patriots,
Yeah.
but like I
They,
guess
they,
since
they
Tom
feel
left,
they feel different, yeah.
yeah, they feel different, and it's just like it's nice to see like the rookie do what he's doing, especially with all the other flops from quarterbacks. Because I always like watching rookie quarterbacks, I like seeing what they do in their first year. So to see like with the coaching from Belichick and all that, and see where the Patriots are at right now, considering a rookie quarterback is insane. Because imagine how scary it'll be in the next couple of years if he gets better and better and better and matures and learns more.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they're my winner. It's just like blowout win, just stamp it, like they got it.
Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna give you another winner too. I mean, I agree. I think the Patriots, if they could have beaten Buffalo their last game, like they'd be like bona fide winners. But like that's not really fair. Buffalo's a really good team too, so they kind of have to like jerry rig a way to win the division if they're going to. And it'll be kind of weird that like the Patriots might win 11 games and not win their division, but that's kind of how it goes.
What is that coming down to next week? Did Buffalo already win the division or no?
If they both win, Buffalo wins it. If Patriots win and Buffalo loses, then switch. So
Gotcha.
Buffalo controls their own destiny.
Okay.
Which pretty easy. My winner for this week, I have two, so I'm gonna say one really quick. Odell Beckham Jr.
Yes.
Absolute winner. This is the full opposite of Antonio Brown. This is a guy that people have said his whole career he's a diva, and he's had some instances, but he's just like a guy that wants to play football at the end of the day. He doesn't have off the field stuff. He doesn't have a lot of the crazy things. He's not walking out of fields. Like he kicked the a field goal kicking net one time, and it fought back.
And then proposed to it.
And he had a toxic relationship with the Browns, and it kind of felt like that X thing I was referring to earlier, where it's like, where's the common denominator? And then you bring him to a winning team and a team that kind of needs him. Yeah. And he's been so good for the Rams. I think he has 5 or 6 touchdowns in his short time there, and he did not have that many in Cleveland his whole tenure there. Listen, man, this guy's talented. This guy is absolutely talented, and he's showing it. And I'm really happy for him.
Yeah.
And then my other winner is young guys. Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow are as good as advertised. I think we kind of all knew Burrow was going to be great. Obviously, he was the number 1 overall pick in the draft last year. And then it was the debate between Tua and Herbert. I do think Tua is actually still pretty good. He had a really rough day yesterday that we can kind of just throw it away, forget it. Like you have those days sometimes. Justin Herbert's clearly as elite as it gets. I sent it in our group text earlier. If you had to create a quarterback in like a test tube, it would be him. Like that's what you would get, but maybe like a little bit faster, but like that's the guy you would get. And you have those guys at quarterback, and then you have Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel at wide receiver. Like these are as explosive of receivers as we have ever seen. And they are versatile. Deebo's a running back. Cooper Kupp's barely a wide receiver. Like he's like a slot hybrid dude who doesn't really have routes. He just like is an offense. Like it's crazy. And what these guys are kind of doing for their teams is very, very impressive. Cooper Kupp probably breaks the record for yards this year. Do you remember what the yard total was for the record?
Not off the top of my head, no.
I don't remember either, but he's at 1,800 yards right now with a game left. So he has a chance, if he has 170 yards, to literally break 2,000 receiving yards this year. And he has 15 touchdowns. Like, that's bananas.
Shout out to Matt Stafford, though, for having the opportunity to throw for 2 of the best wide receiver seasons of all time with Megatron. 2 different teams, two different receivers. Like, that's insane that Stafford is responsible for both of them.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. And, don't sleep on Justin Jefferson. He is a sophomore in this league, and he has 1,500 yards again. Last year he had 1,400 yards. And granted, like, he didn't play right away. Like, he did have a couple. It took like 3 weeks for him to play, so he probably would have had more. Last year he has 1,400. This year is like, okay, I'm gonna get 15 this year, and 2 more touchdowns. Oh, and we got a week left. It's like these guys are nuts. And Jamar Chase, I mean, he went from not being able to see the ball. He literally couldn't see the ball, and we talked about this, and I was terrified. Like I said on the air, and you call me a big dumb idiot. I don't care. I said I will not draft him if you paid me.
I drafted him.
Yeah, I did say relax, Drew.
But bro, that scares me. Like mental stuff like that scares me. Like you're a rookie and like it's your 3rd week in training camp and you can't see the ball and you're like telling people. Come on now.
But it is a different ball. You just gotta adjust, and he adjusted, and everybody's happy. That's it. On to the next.
Exactly. And while we're talking about stats, we actually have a guy who knows them pretty well.
We do.
We have a guy. Let's go to the corner, baby.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Gerard, and we are back again with the final episode of Fantasy Corner for the year. I appreciate y'all for staying tuned the whole year. I hope that I was able to help y'all win your fantasy league because I wasn't able to win mine. But hey, that's just how it is sometimes. But let's go ahead and get into the top performers of the week. We got Joe Burrow's QB1, 446 yards, 4 touchdowns for 35 fantasy points. Joe Burrow has been going off lately, and I am loving it. I am loving it for the Cincinnati Bengals fans out there. Rashad Penny, 195 total yards, 2 touchdowns for 32 fantasy points, and he is your running back 1 for the week. Jamar Chase, this don't even make no sense. This is crazy. 11 receptions, 266 yards, 3 touchdowns for 60 6-0 fantasy points. Jamar Chase went stupid with Joe Burrow. That connection dating all the way back to LSU, and it's out here shining bright as a diamond over here in the NFL, and we love to see it. Jamar Chase, Offensive Rookie of the Year, no debate at this point, and next year in fantasy, he's coming off the board top 2 rounds, easy. And then Noah Fant is your tight end 1, 6 receptions, 92 yards, and a touchdown for 21 fantasy points. So now this is it. Nothing to talk about for next week. I'm going to just go ahead and go over the top performers of the year, and I'm going to go ahead and go over the worst performers of the year, just kind of based off of where they're drafted and like what we expected out of them. So the top performers of the year, QB1, let me make sure my hat, good there. Josh Allen, baby, 393 points this year in fantasy, averaging 24 points per game. He led the league in points, and I'm not surprised. Y'all might be surprised, but I'm not surprised. And someone said that he regressed. There should be no question who the running back 1 is. It's Darren. No, I'm joking. It's Jonathan Taylor. 323 points this year as a running back is absolutely insane. He was averaging 20 points per game. So if you somehow manage to get John Taylor and Josh Allen on the same team, I promise you won your league. Cooper Kupp, again, no surprise, is your wide receiver 1 for the year. 275 points this year, and he averaged 17 a game. These 3 were balling all year long, and if you had any combination of the 3, I'm sure you are well into your fantasy playoffs, and I'm pretty sure you just got some money in your pocket. Mark Andrews was your tight end 1 this year, 185 points, and he averaged 12 points a game. As a tight end, that's very good. Tight ends are usually hovering between 7 and 9, so if you get a double-digit tight end, you're looking good, and Mark Andrews was the number 1 this year. Number 1 kicker, Nick Folk of the New England Patriots, 164 total points. He's averaging about 10 a game. That's crazy. Shout out to Nick Folk. Then we got the Cowboys. Defense was the number 1 defense this year, 180 points this year, which for a defense is pretty crazy. And they averaged about 11. Shout out to Trevon Diggs for those 11 interceptions, Micah Parsons, all those boys, all the blocked punts, all the interception returns. It really paid off if you had them on your team. So for the bust this year, I'm just kind of going off what we expect of them per usual. And these players on this list did not perform anywhere close to this. We have Matt Ryan is the bust for the QB. He only put up 223 points this season total, and he's only averaging 13. As my quarterback, I'm expecting at least I'm hoping for a minimum of 16 points on average, but 13 is just unacceptable. And Matty Ice without Julio Jones. Saquon Barkley is the biggest bust in fantasy football in a long time. Yeah, he's coming off an injury, and we get that. But injuries are no excuse in fantasy football. This man only played 13 weeks, only put up 100 total fantasy points, and he was averaging 8 fantasy points a game. 8 fantasy points a game from someone who was drafted in your first round and probably only as late as your second round. I hope next year, for his sake, so he's not disappointing people, as he's dropped to probably 3rd, 4th round, but for some reason someone's going to see something and bump him right back up into 1st, 2nd round. Robbie Anderson and Allen Robinson both get the bust of the year for the wide receiver. I couldn't decide. I was looking at it for 5 minutes to see which one I thought was worse, but I couldn't pick, so I just went with both of them. Robbie Anderson and Allen Robinson both average a measly 4 points a game. 4 points a game. Allen Robinson, we're so used to him being a top 20 wide receiver with a quarterback that I feel like is worse than Justin Fields and Andy Dalton, but it is what it is. And Robbie Anderson, Sam Darnold throwing to you. I get it, but even when you had him throwing to you on the Jets, you were doing better. So I'm not looking at either one of those guys next year for my team. And then Darren Waller. Last year he was second in the league for tight ends. And this year he came up with a whopping 7 points. He only got to play 10 games because of injury. But like I said, we don't make excuses for injuries in Fantasy Corner. We just tell it how it is, and Darren Waller was not it. But that is it for Fantasy Corner this year. I appreciate all of you guys for staying tuned. I appreciate you guys for helping me out and interacting with me to make this a very enjoyable experience. Brooke and Ju, shout out to you. Thanks for letting me on your podcast week to week. Can't wait till next year. I'll probably see you guys around training camp to start talking a little bit about fantasy and get ready for the draft and everything like that. If you won, congratulations. If you didn't win, there's always next year. With that, I'll catch y'all later. Peace out.
Gerard, thank you as always for the fantasy insight and the booms or busts. And thank you for a great season. We appreciate everything you do on the fantasy side and all the knowledge that you bring to people. And guess what? I won my league. Is it because of you? Who's to say? Am I a great GM? Are you a great whisperer in my ear? I don't know. But thank you again for a great season. And we look forward to all the cool stuff we have planned with you in the future, with the podcast and every other aspect of the Spectator. So appreciate you, brother. And now, with the fantasy football playoffs over, we got the real playoffs coming up in 2 weeks. Next week is week 18, the final week of the year, the additional game happening this year, which is still crazy that's happening. We got a whole extra playoff team. We have 7 teams on each side and 3 wild cards. There's 1 bye to be had. One of them is locked up by the Green Bay Packers, so that makes this a little bit easier. But we're going to talk playoffs and kind of how we see where it's going to go. We'll start with the NFC, I guess, because the Packers, that's an easy one. They're the 1 seed. They got the bye. They can take a break and sit on the couch and not play next week like they did in week 1, baby. So, 13-3, they'll probably be, I mean, doesn't matter. They might lose next week. Who cares?
Yeah. I hope they don't start anyone good.
Yeah, I literally think they might give a bunch of 6-day rosters spots and just throw them out there against the Lions and still maybe win and still maybe beat the Lions. So you got them locked in at the 1 seed, and then you have pretty much a 2-team battle going, or a 3-team battle going for the 2 seed over here. The Rams are in possession at this moment. If they win, they're the 2 seed. Bucks are sitting at 3. If they win, they're staying there unless the Rams lose. So those are easy ones. Philly is the 7 seed, but they are clinched. They are locked. It's kind of a weird little thing. But they do lose the tiebreaker to San Francisco, but they're in the playoffs, and San Francisco isn't at this point. So there's 1 spot available, San Francisco and the Saints. Saints win, San Francisco loses, they're in. As simple as that. How do you guys feel about that? Who do you think is probably more likely? I mean, San Francisco's looked better all year, but Saints are a really interesting team.
Saints are very interesting, but I don't love them.
No.
I would prefer to see San Francisco in the playoffs. I'm looking here. Who does San Francisco play? The Rams.
They have a tough game. Yeah, they have a tough game.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
And they don't necessarily get eliminated if they lose.
Yeah, and New Orleans plays Atlanta. So here's my, I feel like I honestly don't think New Orleans, the New Orleans-Atlanta game might be closer than, people think. And then, honestly, San Francisco might, I don't know. I wouldn't like to see New Orleans in the playoffs.
I wouldn't either.
San Francisco.
It's kind of a weird season, too, because I think if they were healthy, New Orleans would, actually be a pretty solid team. Jameis being there really makes them better. How much better? I don't really know. But they haven't had a quarterback all year. They've still won some games, and they're sitting at, I think they're 8-8. And they have a chance to make the playoffs. I don't think they will. I actually think Atlanta wins this game.
So, yeah, I think so too. I honestly think Atlanta beats them.
I think Atlanta wins this game. It's in Atlanta. They don't have a bad seed. Atlanta could have potentially snuck in the playoffs if they won the last 2 weeks. So
a game behind.
Yeah, and this is a rivalry too. So I actually think Atlanta comes out and wins this game. Which
it's funny because if Atlanta won last week, it would be New Orleans, Atlanta for a playoff spot, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. It would be the winner of that gets in if San Francisco loses. It would be that kind of a deal. And, part of this too is, are the Rams going to try? The Rams have been super injury prone this year. Are they going to try against San Francisco? Obviously, that's a big rivalry, but do they care? I don't know, because if they lose and Arizona loses, they're still a 3 seed, but obviously you want to win the division. The best way to do that, win. Arizona can win this division still.
And with because that's the thing. Do you want to start your players that could potentially get hurt for the playoffs, or do you want to get a better playoff seed? Because the 2 seed isn't bad. Right now, you're playing Philadelphia.
I would love to play Philly right now.
Yeah, but so like 2 or 3 seed doesn't really matter. Is there a chance they can go to 4th or no?
No, so it's 2, 3, or 5. So if Arizona wins, and the Rams lose, the Arizona Cardinals take the 2 seed, because I think they actually have like tiebreakers over the Bucks. So like it's kind of a weird thing like that. No, they don't. So because they have a worse record anyway. So they would wind up in that 2 or 3 seed.
You got to play. I feel like just from what you told me right there that they could flip the 5th, I feel like you just got to go out.
It's too tight of a window to fold like that and leave it up to fate.
Yeah, and do you want to go in and play Dallas in Dallas? I don't really know. I don't think that's something you want to do, especially when Philly's on the table. So
and then if you have a chance to fall to the 5 seed and lose the game, no, just no.
And they're the only team that really controls their own destiny, because if they win, they're the 2 seed. It's just that simple. They've had a really good year. Although they've had like weird moments, what team really hasn't? I think literally every team has had weird moments this year. Even the Packers, like they've had weird ones. So, if they come out and win, they're chilling. Here's how I see it, right? I think they come out, and I actually think they lose. I think they try, and I think they lose. And so I think they wind up being the 5 seed, playing Dallas, and you have San Francisco and Philly as the 6 and the 7 respectively. And you get San Francisco, Arizona as a matchup as the 6 versus 3. And that sounds amazing. That sounds so fun as a playoff game.
Yeah.
So you said, with the Rams losing, the Bucks take the 2nd spot. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So it would be San Francisco, Arizona.
Yeah. Because the Bucks, there's like not much of a chance the Bucks lose to the Panthers this week. I don't see it. So
Not at all.
No, the Panthers have had like the least amount of heart in football the last like 2 months.
Don't gotta talk about that.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, it is what it is.
Gotta be noted.
It's gotta be noted. So that's kind of how I see that NFC kind of falling out. Any thoughts on that feeling?
I agree. There's not really much for a lot of change. Most of the teams that are in are already in. It's just
it's just that San Francisco. But I think San Francisco gets in anyway, because again, I don't think the Saints win. So
yeah,
and then seeing how the Rams, if they do go down a 5th, seeing how that bites them if it does later on.
Yeah, if the Rams
crazy shakeup,
Rams go to 5th and then get like just blanked because Dallas does have a pretty decent defense, like, ooh. Tough.
Especially after losing to Arizona like that.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do some soul searching, and they do. They do soul searching every offseason. They like fully change their everything. It's kind of crazy. So, but they expect to be great this year. To go get Matt Stafford to be great, you can't go lose the last game of the season and lose the wild card. Can't do that.
No,
can't do that. So that's the NFC. It's kind of easy. Everybody should want to play Philly. I think Philly's easily the worst team of the playoff teams, for like a lot of reasons, but okay. Fight for the 2 seed. And then the AFC is kind of crazy. Tennessee Titans, we wrote them off months ago. Derrick Henry goes down, we wrote him off, and here they are winning a lot of games without him, winning some pretty good games without him too. Like they've had some pretty dominant wins. For the most part, they've completely changed their offense. AJ Brown is like actually emerged as a top guy. We've known he's had that talent, but he is like as elite as it gets. And Ryan Tannehill is Kirk Cousins that doesn't want to lose big games. He doesn't care about losing those games. So, like, that's a pretty good guy to have. If they win, they're the 1 seed. Can't believe I just said that. But Tennessee, without the maybe most explosive player in football, right? Derrick Henry is maybe the single best game wrecker on offense in football. Without him for half the season, could potentially be the 1 seed. And they might get him back.
That's the craziest part.
For the playoffs,
We
that
were
would be
talking about it
insane.
last night on our Twitter space.
Yeah.
Everybody keep an eye out for that. If you're on Twitter and whatever other social medias, join our conversation whenever you see us live on Twitter spaces at _the spectators on Twitter. And let us talk. We want to hear your opinions too.
Yeah.
We were talking about it last night. And like, if you get a 50% Derrick Henry back, while they've been doing it 100% without him, that's scary.
That's scary. And you know what's the best way to get Derrick Henry back quicker? Getting a bye so you don't have to lose in the wild card game.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Do you want to go into a wild card game? And they play Houston this week. It's as there for the taking as possible, right? Houston's not been good. They've had some weird games where they've scored a lot, but they're not a good team. You go into Houston, you beat up on them as you're supposed to. You get your 1 seed. You have a 12-5 season. First of all, that's incredible. But if you lose this game for whatever reason, now you go into the playoffs after losing to Houston. It's probably a hard-fought game since you just lost. And you got to play the next week against the Chargers? Nah,
Justin Herbert is scary.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
Win
this game. Win this game.
I don't want to see Herbie in a single game like that.
No, win this game. Just do it. It's just that easy. And
What do you think Herbert gets
what do you mean?
in the playoffs?
Oh, Herbert's gonna pop off unless Herbert's playing against New England, which I don't think they can. I don't think that's like possible because I don't think they can't beat a. I'm sure there's a way that they could beat a 2 seed.
Low probability.
I'm sure there's a way, but there's no way. No, actually, it's pretty simple. If they win and the Chiefs lose, the Patriots are the 2 seed,
But the Patriots have to beat.
and the Bills got to lose. Okay, there's a lot.
Buffalo has to
lose.
lose.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. So
Cincinnati has to lose too, right?
no, they have a tiebreaker over them. So yeah, there's a
what's
lot of
crazy?
weird.
Looking at this wild card games now, I'm seeing Indianapolis at 6th.
Mm-hmm.
I knew they had a really rough beginning of the season, but they're only 9-7. I mean, they're only 9-7.
They were 0-4.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I guess
9-4,
9-3
and then they've had a tough loss to the Bucks, and they
Yeah.
lost this week. Like those are 2 tough losses, and that's 6 losses right there. So
That's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So no, Indy, if they take care of business, they're playing Jacksonville. They should. They'll be the 6th seed. They don't have a way above. The Chargers, they got a tough matchup against the Raiders because the winner of that game's in the playoffs. Like whoever
So
wins
Raiders
that,
can still get in.
yeah, the Raiders can still get in. They
Yeah,
really did themselves a favor this week by winning in Indy. Like that was huge. That was a big win.
A crazy end to the game too.
Yeah, with that the Hunter Renfro play and that that was fun. And
Yeah, they squeaked that one out. So shout out to them.
in classic Vegas fashion. Like they did stuff the weirdest way possible. They squeaked by. They'll probably disappoint us next week. I bet you. Here's how I'm seeing it. Because these are the 2 most inconsistent teams in the league, Chargers, Raiders. I will not enjoy watching this game at all. One of those teams gets blown out. Like one of them just comes in and gets absolutely blown out. They don't show up. It's literally win or go home, and one doesn't show up. And by one, I mean like the Chargers defense won't show up, or like Derek Carr's receivers all drop passes. I think those are like the 2 things that go wrong.
So if you had to pick one to not show up, which team you taking?
Raiders, easy.
Raiders?
Raiders,
Yeah.
easy.
I think that's pretty.
But I mean,
Pretty
we've
safe,
seen the Chargers defense like just decide that they don't want to play. So we've seen it happen a couple times this year. But I mean, yeah, if the Raiders win, they're the 6th seed. Pretty nuts.
Yeah.
I like this AFC side. It looks like a lot of fun games.
There's a lot of fun games that matter, but there's like a lot of gimmies. Like Indianapolis is in. They're playing Jacksonville. They're in. So like there's really one spot left. And that's what I don't like. And the only way the Ravens get in is if Indy loses. So
Please don't put the Ravens in.
yeah, please don't.
Like that would just be. Ugh.
Be mean
don't-
to like everybody.
I don't even want to think about that.
Is there a way that
nightmares.
they get in? If no, there's not. I was trying
You
to
know
figure
what's
out
crazy?
if there's a way they can
Pittsburgh
get
is
in.
ranked above Baltimore.
Don't
Pittsburgh?
put Pittsburgh in there
Yeah.
either.
Pittsburgh is ranked above Baltimore.
Oh, I guess they
'Cause
still
they
have
have
to,
a tie.
they still have to play today though. Oh, they have the tie. They have a better record. Oh god.
Yeah, they have a better record.
Oh lord. Pittsburgh
That's
ties
nuts, isn't
every
it?
year
So if Pittsburgh wins tonight,
and wins
they're
next week.
technically 8-7-1.
Oh, let me see. Let's do some math there. Now, if they
Pittsburgh
win,
can technically make the playoffs.
no, they're
No, they're in the hunt.
they
They can
need-
make it,
Nah, they need the Colts to
lose,
also lose.
but they can.
All those
Well, that's
AFC,
the thing.
all those
Colts,
all those
they have to
AFC, all those AFC North teams need the Colts to lose to the Jags. The Jags have literally not played football. Trevor Lawrence has 2 touchdowns in the last 9 weeks. They're not winning.
Duval.
Like if there's anything you can lock, if you have like $1,000, just put it on the Colts. You'll get like $5 back. make a quick 5-piece. Like go get a Taco Bell box after it because they're
Nah,
winning
dude, that's
this
the
game.
one that you do out of confidence, and then boom, they find
No,
a way.
They're not. It's not
They
happening.
find a way.
It's not happening.
All right, join us next week so we can see if they did make it or not, bro. Because that's crazy.
I'm not betting that money. That's on y'all. Don't do it.
I'm not doing that either.
So
Don't.
Nah, that's not financial advice.
Nah, that's not financial advice. I'm just saying what I would potentially think about for me.
I'm just baffled that Pittsburgh has a small opportunity to make the playoffs.
No, but they really
Baffled.
don't though. Like they have to win tonight, and I don't think they do. And then they have to beat the Ravens next week and hope that that's a lot. That's a lot for a team like
Bold
that's
take-
been
my
as
bold take
bad.
is Pittsburgh makes it. I like it.
Your
like it.
bold
That's my bold
take. What the?
Bold take is Pittsburgh makes it. Somehow they sneak in.
They need
I
all 3 of
always
those
make
things. If
that,
all 3 of
but-
those things happen, they get in. So
Yeah. It's interesting, bro. It's 3 things. There's only 3 things you need.
that's 3 big things.
No.
That's 3 big things.
The probability is low, but it's there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know?
Well, how about this? How about this? How about the Browns? No,
You're
Browns can't
lying.
get in. Nah, Browns can't get in. No, they're done. I think they're eliminated.
Yeah.
If they win today and they're done. I tried. I tried.
Yeah, they would need a lot.
Yeah, because
Tried.
they lose the head to Vegas. That would actually
So-
that would be an interesting one because like there's a way that Vegas and the Chargers both get in. Which is weird because that's a winner go home. But like it's not.
So let's just look at these matchups as of right now. Let's say everything stays the same.
Okay.
Nothing changes. Let's start with the AFC. New England, Buffalo. Who you guys taking?
Buffalo. It's in Buffalo.
Buffalo.
I'm going with New England just because I'm liking New England, so I'm just gonna stick with them. But I see how Buffalo can.
Yeah,
Can win it out.
Buffalo.
So, and then Buffalo against Tennessee. If Derrick Henry's back, I'm taking Tennessee.
I'm taking Tennessee handily if Derrick Henry's back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you taking?
So the winner of New England and Buffalo plays Tennessee the week after.
Yes.
If Derrick
Oh,
Henry's
okay.
back, I take them
Okay.
versus either of them. Don't care.
What are you doing, Alejandro?
I don't love Tennessee. I won't lie. I don't
Buffalo's
love them.
run defense is the best in the league, though, so that's something to look out for.
Yeah, I think either Buffalo or New England, whoever wins out of that, I still think that they'll beat Tennessee.
Okay. And then Cincinnati and the Colts.
Colts.
I'm taking Colts.
I don't like the Bengals in the playoffs. I don't know. I literally think they're gonna get ran over. I think like Jay Taylor goes for like 250.
Okay. I'm
Really?
taking
Like
Cincinnati.
I think he goes like buck wild.
What?
Yeah.
I like Cincinnati. I like Cincinnati.
Cincinnati's
I guess
better-
Fantasy's over, so I
Cincinnati's
don't
a
care
better
about
team.
Jonathan Taylor
My-
anymore.
Yeah. You know what part of it too is like Carson Wentz has some playoff experience. Like that's
does.
important. That's important. I don't think he's good though. Carson Wentz sucks.
I'm excited to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs, though.
Yeah.
And
It's our first time seeing him, so I'm excited
Yeah.
to see it.
Chargers, Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Chiefs, yeah.
Yeah, Chiefs. That's an easy one.
And then
Chiefs. Don't care which
Chiefs.
one. Chiefs.
Chiefs against Colts. I'm right there with you. I don't care
Yeah.
which one. I'm
I don't care
taking
which
the
one.
Chiefs.
Taking the Chiefs. Chiefs aren't losing to the Bengals twice this year. It's not happening. Literally not happening. Plus, they'd be the higher seed, so it'd be in KC instead of like they did. Like
Cold.
it took till the very last second to beat the Chiefs in Cincy.
And 2 flags helped.
Yeah,
lot.
and I mean they were flags, but like
Yeah, they were flags.
I didn't like that they were happening, but like they were flags, so whatever.
Yeah, no argument about them, but
Yeah.
they happened.
Yeah.
So
NFC. Cardinals, Dallas. Literally a rematch. I'm sticking with the same script.
Yeah. I think Cardinals as well.
they're gonna have D-Hop back as well,
Yeah.
so gotta go Arizona.
They beat Dallas without a wide receiver one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I gotta go. I think I'm going Green Bay in that matchup though.
Green Bay versus Arizona.
Yeah.
I'm going Green Bay as well. Green Bay is my Super Bowl favorite. I remember I picked them in the beginning of the year. I got to find that graphic somewhere. I have them in our preseason Super Bowl pick, and they're 13-3. I got to make sure I'm sticking with them all the way. So they're going.
I'll take them over Arizona too. San Fran versus Tampa.
Tampa.
Yeah.
Tampa.
And that's no disrespect to San Fran, but I just Jimmy Garoppolo is just simply not good enough.
Tom Brady isn't going to lose a wild card game.
No. Philly, Rams. Can we say it on 3? 1, 2, 3. Rams.
Rams.
Yeah. Although I like Hurts. I like Hurts a lot.
I like Hurts and Devontae Smith, but give me the Rams every day of the week. Bucks, Rams.
I'm going the Rams.
I got the Rams.
I'm going the Rams.
I'm going Tampa. And
Tampa.
and it's crazy too because
Tampa.
you guys know these are my 2 favorites for the Super Bowl. So the fact that they have to play, they were my preseason favorites, and they're my current favorites even now after everything. It sucks that they have to play in the second round if they do play each other. Technically they don't.
But
technically they don't. Give me a world where the Niners beat the Rams, Cardinals win. Rams are the 5 seed.
We talking about these.
No,
matchups.
but give me that. I want
Yeah.
Rams Bucks NFC Championship though. That's what
That'll
I
be
want.
cool. That'll be really.
This is what you have to think about if you're the Rams going into this week with all the probability change that could happen in the wild card standings. They could stake that number 2 seed, but looking ahead, I know you're supposed to look at the game in front of you, not the one after that.
Do you want to play the Packers or the Bucks?
But do you want to play the Packers or the Bucks?
You gotta
Like, which
it's
one-
something. It's something to look at.
So it's like if you do rest your team a little bit in the last game of the season, going into the wild card playing potentially Dallas, yeah, you have a higher probability of losing. Not a big probability, but you still have a probability of losing. But then you avoid the Bucks.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
It's
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very interesting.
Who knows?
But-
How close of a decision do you think, or how much of a thought do coaches and like staff pay attention to that? Like, do you think
Depends on who it is.
you think
Sean
it's gonna go
McVay.
like this,
Sean
right?
McVay doesn't think he wants to win this game.
he just wants to win?
If you're a Bears head coach, because
I
I've
would
seen
say-
them do it in the past, you put like the most amount of Megamind thought into it just to look like a big dumb idiot.
Yeah.
The Packers' last Super Bowl, I will never sleep well because this happened. The Packers' last Super Bowl win only happened because the Bears beat the Vikings in the last week of the season. And because they did that, they let the Packers into the playoffs after they went 0-2 versus the Packers in the regular season. And the Packers played them and they beat them.
That's
If
nuts.
if not, they would have played a bad Vikings team. It was like a Tavares Jackson Vikings team. Like, if they would have just lost that game, they would have played the Vikings again the next week and probably steamrolled them.
There's millions.
I'll never
and
forgive the
millions of
I'll
dollars
never forgive the
into
Bears
these
for that.
decisions.
I'll never forgive them. Because if they lose that game, Packers aren't in. So it's weird stuff. Like, you don't want to let a team get hot by letting them in or like forcing a matchup.
Yeah,
So
just
it's-
win and keep going.
Take
Keep
what you
going.
have and then move on.
Yeah.
And if you consider yourself the best team in the league to win the Super Bowl, it doesn't matter who you play. You got to beat them.
Because the grass ain't always greener. So the other team that you want to play, like, it's
Yeah.
not what you want. And then if
Not
thing
what you
comes
want.
full circle and the one that you ducked is now what you're playing, like, nope.
Yeah, no, it's weird. And the NFL is so like mental too. Like these guys get chips on their shoulder for like you bending a bendy straw the wrong way. So like, to don't do stuff like that to get guys mad. Don't step on the logo before the game. Don't call Joe Burrow a non-Hall of Famer. Like just focus on yourself.
These are staples
Superstition
over
is
here at
real.
the spectators.
It's bro, just don't be dumb. Don't step on a logo. Like stepping on a logo is stupid, and you shouldn't be hurt by it. But like clearly people are, so just like don't do it.
No, it's disrespectful. Like you're gonna step on my logo, like don't.
You're gonna do it in the game. You want me to not run over it in the game?
But it's different. Like
It's
if you're
not
going
different.
and stomping it,
The same thing.
No.
I'm twisting when I'm running through the middle of the field.
it's disrespectful.
Fucking
But do it during the
college, bro.
game.
Don't step on the logo. You're not graduating.
Terrible.
They
right,
scare you with
so-
that right away too.
Immediately.
But that's all we got for you guys this week. Thank you for listening. Make sure you're following us on Twitter, like Brooklyn said. Catch our Twitter spaces that we'll be doing from time to time. We had one yesterday. It was a lot of fun. We had a couple of y'all in there, and we were just kind of talking, just shooting it, and saying what was on our mind. We went through a bunch of football topics. It was pretty cool. We talked about the Antonio Brown song he dropped and all that, and it was good stuff. So make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram. That's where you get all the newest updates in sports and entertainment. And we'll be back with you guys next Monday, as we always are. Thank you, Alejandro. Thank you, Brooklyn. Happy New Year, everybody.
having me.
We'll see you next
Happy New Year.
week.
Happy Year 3. We got a lot coming, so stay tuned.
Later.
Later.